Do out-of-key notes sound bad? I wouldn't say so.
Ongaku concept.
If you've ever heard somebody play or sing a wrong note in a song, you've probably referred to it or heard it referred to as out of key or off key. But if you know even a little bit about music theory, you probably know that a lot of songs use out of key notes and they sound just fine. So what is it about out of key notes that makes them sound bad? And do they really? Can they be used properly? So to say something is outside of a key, first we have to understand what a key is. Western music is based on a 12-note system. We have 12 notes, that's it. We take one of them and choose it to be our tonal center, the note that everything else in the song will revolve around. We take 6 more notes of varying degrees of tension in relation to the tonal center, and we have a major scale or a minor scale. So these 7 notes, we form the basis of our melodies and our chord progressions on these 7 notes, and this is our key. The other 5 notes that we have remaining are outside of the key. So why are these notes more difficult to work with? Why are they more likely to sound bad? I thought about this for a long time, and I decided it doesn't matter why. Notes are notes, and they relate to each other in different ways. The major scale and the minor scale, there's nothing special about them. They're just collections of notes that we, over long periods of time, have come to decide those are our defaults. And these other notes are outside of that. They have different degrees of tension in relation to the tonal center in the same way that the notes inside of the key do. They're just different. All of them sound different. Now you can go on for a very long time to talk about how to use out-of-key notes effectively, but I'm going to give you 4 general ways that you can start using out-of-key notes in your music, and things to watch out for. Number 1, if you're going to use an out-of-key note in your music, use it sparingly, and make it quick, don't hold it out. In Sonic Adventure's Welcome to Station Square, that song is in the key of F major. The melody comes in on an A natural. This makes sense. It's inside of the key, and it's the 3rd of the F chord. But then it goes to an A flat really quickly, and then goes back up to the A. It's there for just long enough to add some spice and interest to the sound, and then it's gone before it can stay long enough to make things uncomfortable. You can think of out-of-key notes like spices. You use them to add interest to your music, but you don't necessarily want to hold them out. Number 2, if you're going to hold them out, make sure the harmony supports it with consonant intervals. Later on in this melody, a C sharp shows up. C sharp is outside of the key, but it's being supported by other notes making up an A7 chord, which a C sharp does exist in that chord. Everything pulls together to support this out-of-key note, which keeps it from sounding too out of place. Yes, it's tense, it does have a different sound to the other notes inside of the key, but it's all supported, so it sounds like a coherent, intentional thing, because it is. Number 3, if you're going to hold out an out-of-key note with the purpose of sounding intense or jarring, make sure the tone of your song supports it. Dissonance is not a bad thing. You can use it to communicate fear or aggression or even humor, but you have to make sure the tone of your song fits it or the section of your song fits it. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. Number 4, voice leading. Voice leading is the idea of taking 2 chords and arranging the notes so that you don't have awkward jumps. You want to make sure that you have the smoothest motion possible from one note to the next, so there's not a lot of jumping around. This can be easily seen on a piano. If you want to make sure that your voice leading is smooth, make sure that you can play both of the chords in roughly the same position on the piano. Good voice leading can be the difference between an out-of-key chord that sounds jarring and an out-of-key chord that surprises the listener with how smoothly you changed into it. So there's nothing inherently wrong with out-of-key notes. They just require some more care to use, just because of the expectations that we have from working with major and minor scales for so long, and also because of just natural tensions. There's a lot of ways you can go about incorporating these into your music. You can start using secondary dominants or borrowed chords, but these are just some general tips that might help you out if you want to start using out-of-key notes in your music, which I highly recommend that you do. So out-of-key notes aren't wrong to use, they're just different. And once you understand how they work, you can open up a world of possibilities for your music. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see here, please subscribe. I do a video every Saturday. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments or email me at ongakuconcept@gmail.com. If you want to know more about chord substitutions, I did a video on that, which you can find right about here. I did a video talking about how you can switch out one chord for an entirely different chord and still make it work, which can be helpful if you want to start using out-of-key notes. If you want to know more about the way notes and chords function inside of a key, I did a video on that, comparing them to RPG classes, which you can find right down here. If you want to discuss this topic with other fans of game music, you can join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Ongaku Concept VGM. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.